Google has been under a lot of pressure recently after Microsoft held an event in which they outlined how they plan to compete with Google in the search market. Microsoft CEO Nadella has been rather aggressive in his choice of words, and in various interviews he explained that he is excited about taking away significant market share from Google. And who would have thought that Google can actually learn something from arguably the most hated company in the world, Meta, a company that has recently enjoyed a reversal in how it is perceived by the public. Obviously, over the last 12 months, both Meta and Google's stock have performed rather poorly, with Google being down 36% from its previous all-time high and Meta stock down 52%. But as Meta's more recent stock performance has shown, the stock more than doubled in less than 2 months. One can recover from big declines if you make the right operational decisions. And so in this video, you will learn which strategy Google CEO Sundar Pichai needs to copy from Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg to fight off Microsoft and its hyped search machine Bing. So first off, what do Google and Meta actually have in common? Well, the most obvious point is that they are the two main players in the digital ad market. As this statistic graph here shows, Google, aka Alphabet, and Meta, formerly known as Facebook, have been dominating the digital ad market for what feels like forever. In 2021, Google's share of digital ad revenues worldwide was estimated to amount to 28.6%, followed by Facebook with an estimated digital ad revenue share of 23.7%. Combine both numbers and you'll see that together, Meta and Google collected more than half of all online ad dollars year after year and have successfully been riding the secular trend of increasing digital ad spend. And this trend of more media moving online, providing advertisers the ability to use data to reach targeted consumers, is also projected to keep growing. It is predicted that in 2023, almost 2/3 of total advertising expenditures in the United States will be allocated towards digital advertising. Alright, so far all of this looks pretty rosy, right? In fact, both Meta and Google were so dominant that both competitors and regulators feared that there would be no way to stop their dominance, ultimately leading to a net negative for consumers, competition, and innovation. However, both companies more recently also faced major headwinds. One obvious one that both companies have to deal with is that going forward, growth may actually slow as the competition in the digital ad market is heating up. First and foremost, Amazon, the ByteDance-owned social media app TikTok, and streaming providers that now offer ad-supported tiers like Netflix are emerging as serious competitors and provide real alternatives to advertisers. The research firm Insider Intelligence suggests that TikTok's command of the digital ad market more than doubled in 2022, and similarly Amazon already accounted for 11.7% of US digital ad spending last year and is poised to grow to 12.4% in 2023. But then both Meta and Google are also facing problems that are very specific to each company. Which brings me to the main idea of this video. Meta and other social media platforms were not only harmed by increased competition from TikTok, but also suffered from Apple's iOS 14 update in 2021, which basically required apps on its devices to ask users if they want to be tracked. And as the majority of iPhone users opted not to be tracked, this was a major headwind for Meta and other social media platforms, harming those businesses' ability to target ads at users with precision, creating attractive returns on ad spend for advertisers. In fact, the Apple ATT headwind was quantified by former Meta CFO Weiner to be in the range of $10 billion. Google, on the other hand, was not really affected by this iOS update, as its digital advertising offering differs from the model of social media companies like Meta. Google search results reflect their users' intent. Users' search terms basically immediately reveal what they are interested in and looking for. So with that being said, what exactly can Google learn from Meta platforms and the decisions made by Meta CEO Zuckerberg specifically? Let me explain. As I outlined, Google's core search business is also under pressure with the emergence of AI-driven alternatives like OpenAI's ChatGPT. Its competitor Microsoft made an announcement last week about a new update for the Bing search engine that is powered by OpenAI, causing speculation that Google's dominance in the search engine market may be coming to an end. especially as Google's own revelation of its AI-driven chatbot called Bard has led to a very critical perception by the public and a decline of $100 billion in market value. In an interview with Ben Thompson's Strategy newsletter, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman even referred to Google as a quote-unquote sluggish search monopoly. Combine this with the layoffs of 12,000 employees, the expected slowing revenue growth, and the antitrust issues Google is facing, you know that Google has a tough year ahead. As I outlined in another video, the main problem Google is facing is that the company needs to find a way to overcome the so-called innovator's dilemma. So far, Google has been rather slow in rolling out its own AI solutions and allowed OpenAI's ChatGPT and now Microsoft with the integration of ChatGPT and its search engine to enjoy a first mover advantage. ChatGPT in particular has gone absolutely viral, gained more than 100 million users in record time and created a ton of virality and media reports. The innovator's dilemma was described by Clayton Christensen in a book with the same name, and it describes the phenomenon of a market leader failing to seize the next wave of innovation in its respective industry. The traditional and more established companies normally have the financial resources and pricing power, to stay the leader, but they often fail to disrupt themselves because of how profitable their already existing current products are. That's seemingly exactly the problem that Google is facing and the problem that Matter arguably successfully overcame. Bringing out a new AI ChatGPT-like tool probably isn't that hard for Google. They've spent billions on AI research over the years, have worked on large language models themselves, and they have access to a ton of data, which in theory at least should give them a major competitive advantage. But there are two problems. One is that monetizing ChatGPT-like search results could ultimately be harder as there are no links, as in Google's traditional search business. I'm sure they would be able to find a good way to monetize these types of search results, but Google is most certainly about hurting its own earnings power in the short and medium term. And then secondly, the computing costs of these AI search queries are much higher, as of now at least, as the computing costs of a more traditional search query, which ultimately would also hurt Google's profits. If you combine the two, people clicking on fewer links due to the nature of the AI-driven search results and increasing costs per search due to the underlying AI computing power that is needed. Clearly, Google has more to lose than gain here by aggressively rolling out new AI search tools, and it explains why Google so far has been rather slow and reactionary. And quite frankly, Google seems to be stumbling a little bit. It's the innovator's dilemma at work, and it is what gives Microsoft the opportunity to be a disruptor in the search space. So what can Google learn from Matter? Well, to overcome the issues caused by the innovator's dilemma, a company sometimes needs to be willing to hurt its own profits and products. And this is exactly what Mark Zuckerberg, as the head of Matter, has been doing for the last 2+ years. And quite frankly, he has received a lot of criticism for his actions and decisions by his shareholders. But I think Matter has been very clear about the focus on rolling out Reels. So short-form video content that is shown to users of its platform, primarily based on the AI recommendation system that can be super addictive and that has been developed by Matter over the last couple of months. Now you might not know it, but Zuckerberg and his management team have been pretty upfront about the fact that rolling out Reels, developing the AI algorithms and building the server infrastructure that is needed will be a major financial hit to the company, at least in the short and medium term. In the short term, Reels are a negative for Matter because this new format doesn't monetize as well as the more established formats, Feed and Stories. So by showing users more Reels and in turn less regular Feed and Stories content, Matter is basically cannibalizing its own profits. So in a way, Matter was and is still facing the same dilemma as Google. But unlike Google, Matter has decided to play offense. And the data shows that they've been quite successful at that. Sure, profits and margins are down temporarily, but Meta is starting to figure out how to monetize Reels, and its users love the feature, spend more time on Meta's family of apps, and competitor TikTok actually seems to be less of a threat now than 2 years ago. So just like the emergence of short-form video led to a transition period during which Meta had to accept lower profits, Google needs to make the same decision. Take the short-term financial hit of rolling out ChatGPT-like search results in addition to the regular search results, figure out ways to monetize this new way of searching for content online, improving the quality of these search results, and over time make sure that Microsoft doesn't take away a significant amount of market share. Staying passive, playing defense, and being in a reactionary position will likely be negative for the company in the long term, and instead they need to proactively face the emergence of AI and start leading the way. Long-term investors will accept the short-term pain, and even Google employees seem to demand this approach. On an internal Google board, one employee wrote, "Dear Sundar, the Bard launch and the layoffs were rushed, botched and myopic. Please return to taking a long-term outlook." Alright, I recommend you watch one of my other videos on this subject next. Take care.